I get it, you're scrolling through a ton of 4K and 5K monitors, and the LG Ultrafine 32U990A keeps popping up in the best for creators lists. You're probably wondering if spending a solid chunk of cash on a 32-inch screen that promises 6K resolution is actually worth it for the work you do, or if you'd be better off with a cheaper 4K panel that still looks sharp enough for everyday tasks. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That hesitation is real, because a monitor isn't just a piece of glass, it becomes the window you stare at for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, and getting it wrong can cost you both productivity and eye strain. Let's break down why the Ultrafine 32U990A might be the right fit or why you might want to keep scrolling. First off, this is a 32-inch Nano IPS display with a 61443456 pixel matrix that's a true 6K canvas. In practical terms, you're getting roughly 20% more pixels than a 5K monitor and almost 3 times the pixel count of a 1080p screen. For someone who edits high-resolution video, does pixel-perfect photo retouching, or works with complex UI designs where every line matters, that extra detail can translate into smoother curves, crisper text, and more accurate color gradations when you zoom in. The panel also carries HDR600 certification, meaning it can hit higher brightness peaks and a broader color volume than a standard monitor, which is a genuine plus if you're grading footage or need that extra pop for visual work. Now, let's talk about the real-world setup. The monitor ships with a single DisplayPort, an HDMI port, and 3 USB-C connections that double as video input and power delivery. If you have a recent MacBook or a USB-C-enabled Windows laptop, you can essentially run your entire workstation off a single cable video, data for peripherals, and up to 60 W of charging power. That's a tidy desk, no spaghetti of wires, and it's exactly the kind of convenience that many creators rave about when they talk about single cable workflow. For a dual monitor rig, you can use the HDMI or DP for the second screen, keeping the USB-C as the primary link to your laptop. Adjustability is another area where the Ultrafine shines. The stand lets you tilt, raise, lower, and even pivot the screen into portrait mode, which is a feature that often gets overlooked but becomes a lifesaver when you need to view long code files or vertical social media feeds. The Visa 100,100mm mount pattern also means you can ditch the stand entirely and mount the monitor on an arm if you already have one, freeing up desk space and letting you fine-tune ergonomics beyond the built-in range. On the flip side, there are a few hidden trade-offs you should be aware of before you click Add to Cart. First, the refresh rate tops out at 60 Hz. That's perfectly fine for photo editing, video work, and most office tasks, but if you're a gamer or someone who enjoys a buttery smooth scrolling experience while browsing, you'll notice the lack of higher frame rates. The 5 milliseconds gray-to-gray response time is respectable for a panel of this type, but it's not a gaming-grade monitor. Secondly, while HDR600 is a step up from basic HDR, it still falls short of the higher standards you see in premium HDR displays that push 1000 nits or more. In a dimly lit room you'll see a nice boost in contrast, but in bright environments the HDR effect can feel modest. Energy consumption is something the spec sheet highlights. This model lands in a good efficiency class, meaning it won't be a power-hungry monster on your electric bill. That's a nice practical point for anyone who's conscious about running a workstation 1012 hours a day. However, the panel's anti-glare coating, while effective at diffusing harsh light, can sometimes wash out colors a tad in very bright sunlight. If you work near a window with direct sun, you might need a curtain or a monitor hood to keep the picture consistent. Who should consider buying this monitor? If you're a professional photographer, video editor, or UI/UX designer who regularly works with 6K footage or high-resolution assets, the extra pixel density gives you the ability to see fine details without constantly zooming in and out. It's also a solid pick for developers who appreciate the portrait mode for reading long code files, and for anyone who wants a single cable solution that reduces desk clutter. The color accuracy that Nano IPS panels are known for, combined with HDR600, makes the display a reliable reference point for color-critical projects. Who might want to skip it? If your primary use case is general office work, streaming videos, or casual gaming, the premium price tag could be hard to justify when a good 4K monitor would already meet those needs. Also, if you're a competitive gamer who craves 144 Hz or higher refresh rates, you'll be better served by a display that prioritizes speed over pixel count. And if you plan to use the monitor in a bright, sun-flooded environment without the ability to control lighting, you may find the anti-glare